SEO this week. Holy cow, it's episode 50. Who would have thought we made it this far? Well, this week we're going to talk about some link building tactics, some hidden text secrets, some things that you should know about conversions, and some content marketing ideas for your October editorial calendar. Yep, it's almost October. Who can believe it? Anyway, all this and more on episode 50 of SEO This Week. All right, without further ado, we're going to go through and fly this so that we don't waste a whole lot of your time. First, we're going to HubSpot.com. It's what is a pillar page? Now, if you've been around in SEO for a while, or even marketing for that matter, you kind of know that the same things get renamed over and over again. Before it was evergreen content. Then they called it the cornerstone page, and now they're calling it the pillar page. But really all it is just kind of rebranding the same thing. So if you're looking at a pillar page, we look at them as this is the money page. The pillar is, what's going to get the conversion, whether that's a sale, lead, or a phone call if you're a local business. So that's our pillar page. And then we create what they call topic clusters. It's just the silos essentially. And you pick around, you create content related to that money page. It links to the money page, and you create your silos. So there's your quote unquote topic cluster. HubSpot's just kind of, just renamed it and made it a little bit more interesting. You can do this a little bit in several different ways. There's tons of ways to build silos. There's tons of ways to make cornerstone pages or money pages or pillar pages. So it's just really a matter of, what is easiest for you and how you want to pull it off. In our case, we focus on SEO, we focus on PPC, and we focus on some social media management stuff. So, those are typically the topics that we're going to write about in our website, in our blogs. And then we can interlink those pages with the specific topics. Let's say we're doing an SEO thing that happens to affect our PPC. We can interlink that to the PPC side as well if you want to. But it's not a very clean silo if you're looking at it from an interlinking perspective. But, it's pretty much the same concept of what they're talking about here in their topic clusters and pillar pages. So interesting to read. If you haven't heard about silos yet or examined how to apply them on your websites, then this is a good place to start. It says it only takes 6 minutes to read. I think I skimmed it a lot faster than that. Whiteboard Friday is 3 easy link building tactics. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of reduce the guessing here. First one is you just search for your brand name, your domain name, and your founders' names, etc. You reach out to those people that have mentioned you, and then you ask them for a backlink. It's pretty easy concept. If you've done a rebranding as well, you can go back and look for the old brand and then reach out to them and say, hey, we rebranded. You mentioned us. We appreciate it. Here's the new brand name. If you can update, that'd be awesome. The next one is sites that list your competition. Going beyond that, instead of just going by each one by one, you look at the sites that list all of your competitions. Typically, you're going to find directories and citations are going to be the ones that list both, but occasionally you'll find some resource pages, etc. And then once you do that, you go out and you obviously you try to get a link to your site as well. So it'd be interesting. That's an easy one to do. And then the last one is sites that list in your field, your geography, your attitudes. Basically directory sites or resource sites or city sites that have like Chamber of Commerce or the top SEOs, top web design, top dentists, those kinds of sites. And these are the idea behind these 3 is they are easy wins to get. It's 50 links for your website right off the bat, and just kind of build your backlink profile in a safe and easy way without having to worry too much about doing something that'll get you in trouble. So that's good. It's a good video. If anything, if you're an experienced SEO, you've kind of heard all these before, but if you've not, or you're just getting started, or you're doing some DIY stuff, this is a good thing to learn about getting your first set of links. Search Engine Journal, everything you need to know about hidden text and SEO. Now, let me go ahead and say that we've tested, and we've tested with a SEO intelligence agency, and we've tested on our own, and you can hide text using CSS, and Google will find it, and it's still readable. Now, there are some things that you shouldn't do, and typically is hide it so that it doesn't display ever. But if you're using tabs or accordions and knock it out, or even you have a slider that shows text too, then there you go. Then you knock that out too. But you don't want to hide it so that people can't see it. Users can't see it. And that is probably the crust of this article is don't hide your text. Don't stuff your text. Don't make white background with white text. That stuff used to work great, and now it's just not working anymore. There are some other things that you can do here that go along with hidden text. I would honestly, what I would do is create a site if you're in the testing mood and see how many of these things actually do work and how many don't. Clearly, they are working a little bit because we've seen tons of examples on the search results, but that's more in the lines of if you find it and they're in your thing, then you need to be better at SEO, or your agency needs to be better at SEO so you can beat them out. The author's suggestion is to go complain to Google and report them as spam. You can if you want, but in our case, we just kind of take that approach as if we have to go tattle on them, then they're probably better SEOs than we are. So we just choose to work around what they're doing and create a better experience, which in turn will create a better search result for us, as it were. Next is search engine land. 20 of Google's limits you may not know existed. This is actually pretty cool, so I'll shoot through these. Is 1,000 properties in the Google Search Console is the limit. I guess if you have that many websites. 1,000 rows in a Google Search Console. What that is if you go to you click backlinks, you have 10,000 backlinks, but Google only visually shows you 1,000. Sometimes you can actually delete even more than that, or download more than what they're showing you. So I would always download if you get, if it shows you 1,000 links, download it instead and show how many there's actually there that they're reporting. You can have up to 200 sitemaps, so that's if you have one of those big supersized sites. The disavow file has a side limit. We didn't know this. It's 2 megabytes and 100,000 URLs. That's pretty interesting. So if you have that many bad backlinks that you're doing a disavow file, you might want to just kill that website. Or you have a really good website that just catches that in some time. But at that point, you probably just better off disavowing domains straight across the board if you're doing something that is requiring a disavow file that big. Render in Google Search Console cuts off at 10,000 pixels. That's interesting. The Google My Business name allows 100 characters. Pretty cool. Robots, text, and some other stuff in here. Here's one. If you are having issues, let's say we did a test site. We created a site with 150,000 pages, and we were having some indexing issues, and it got stuck roughly around the 550,000 URLs index mark. What we didn't know is sitemaps are limited to 50,000 URLs. So that would have been good information, and we could have used something else to create a sitemaps for it. So if you have an index, like if you're using Yoast and it has sitemap index and then list those other ones, that would be your best bet in that case to work around that limit. So that's pretty cool. There's a bunch more in here that you can read. It's pretty interesting. I guess this would be the if you're having dinner with some other SEOs and you wanted to play Stump the Chimp, this would be a good article to use as a resource. PPC Hero, adapt the upcoming AdWords updates. There's 2 in here, and basically what they're doing is there's any ad rotation. There were 4 before: rotate evenly and optimize for conversions. Do not optimize, rotate the ads indefinitely, and then optimize letting Google's AI do it. Now they're reducing that to 2. So either you let them do it or you don't. There's no in-betweens anymore. So that's pretty interesting. It's probably a good change. If you're doing A/B testing, then you don't. If you're not doing any testing whatsoever, then let them figure it out for you. But you should also always, by the lesson there, is always have more than one text ad, especially if you're doing broad keywords, so you can kind of find out which ones work the best. And then they added some ads added by AdWords. It's a create ad variations, and it lets them do it for you. Not too much for some of us, but B2B, where the ad copy is much more about pre-qualifying the right clicks, then that may be handy for you to kind of filter out the noise. But if you're just selling a product, like a Google Shopping product or something like that, you might not use that. Stone Temple is a complete guide to hreflang. So basically, if you have your sites in English and Spanish, and you want to have the hreflang, and you want to set up the canonicals right, etc. Probably one of the more concise guides I've seen to actually doing it properly. So it's pretty cool. I think you should check this out, especially if you are looking at, again, if you have sites in multiple languages, then this is something that you really need to be cognizant of. Specifically, applying the hreflang tag, and then also the canonicals, where to point for the right thing. So it's it's not that complicated, and it's kind of a one-time, once you do it, set up, you're done with it. So I would go ahead and read this if you are in that situation. Kissmetrics, scaling engagement, 5 strategies to connect with more customers. I would say that these are more 5 strategies to connect with your customers, not necessarily more, but deliver on your brand promises, take action on customer feedback, personalize communications, give on social media, and develop an advocacy program. The advocacy program and the social media will help you, no doubt, get more customers, and the rest of that's kind of dealing with your current customer base and just doing the right thing, doing what you're going to say you're going to do. Interesting article, kind of give you some ideas if you don't have those programs in place. Kissmetrics also gives us a drill down into key segments to understand and improve your funnel. I'm not going to delve too deep into the minutia of this article, other than to say it's actually just tells you how to read your analytics in order to find out where you're gaining and losing people. Obviously, the examples in here are using Kissmetrics, but you can find these also inside of your Google Analytics if you're using that or whatever. We use Clicky, Get Clicky as well, so you can see the same data. Just find where you're losing your customers and then make changes in order to keep them. That's basically the crux of that article. Razor Social, 7 email marketing conversion mistakes to avoid. Not knowing your email conversion rates. What are you looking for as part of the conversion? Do you want open rates? Do you want are you looking at how you capturing them, or are you doing a blog panel? Where are you doing, what are your goals there? You should be split testing all your opt-ins, get rid of the stuff that's not working, and test is basically where this is going with. It's really cool, and kind of give you some examples, things that you can do or maybe look at changing as well are covered in here. And then finally, the last article is Practical E-commerce, 5 content marketing ideas for October. This is actually pretty cool. Halloween is the obvious one. Christmas, hey, it's Christmas. Pumpkin spice lattes came out in July, so I guess September and October is not too early to talk about Christmas already. And plus, if you are in the e-com space, you should be looking at your Christmas sales, your Cyber Mondays, your Black Friday sales. All that stuff should be pre-positioned now, especially in the SEO cases. Your campaign should have started in July, but now is not too late. You need to get in there and start killing it on the rankings and position yourself for the holidays now. So it's a good time to actually start thinking about it. Winter is coming content, play up on the line. It is going to start getting cold. If you're doing affiliate sites, you got an Amazon site and start selling winter coats, gloves, all that kind of stuff. Play along the whole Bloomington Coat Factory or Burlington Coat Factory kind of concept. Do that with the website. Also, you can even take it to winterizing cars and stuff that you can add to cars and stuff like that. So it's good ideas. And then a couple of national days. October 1st is National Homemade Cookies Day. I would do, if you're doing National Homemade Cookies Day, cook some cookies and then shoot a video at the same time and talk about a topic. That'd be pretty cool. Leverage that. Maybe, it may not be popular. I didn't know there was a National Home Cookies Day, but some people do. And it might get you some traffic and shares out of that. And then National Manufacturing Day, especially if you are in the kind of business that deals with manufacturers and people who are doing manufacturing. That's pretty good to kind of leverage. You can actually use that to highlight your customers or highlight your own business if you're a manufacturing place, and show that, hey, these are my customers. They are all manufacturers and bringing jobs and trades, etc., to the country. And here meet them a little bit. It's a pretty cool opportunity there as well. So I enjoyed this one. I think probably out of all the articles that we covered today, this one and the Ahreflang are two that you should not miss, just because you need content, and you need if you're doing the Ahref, you don't want to mess that up if you're doing multiple languages. So all right, with that being said, that was episode 50 of SEO This Week. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you have not been onto the website, you should come check us out. All the traffic helps. While listen to the podcast on iTunes, share that. You even drop us a review if you think you were doing a good job or a bad job. We'll take bad ones too, and improve upon those. And then also on the website, we have the on-page SEO guide. There's a download. Sign up to that. And you get the download. We're going to constantly updating that. As a matter of fact, we're pushing some new updates to that today. So with that being said, have a great week, and thank you for listening to SEO This Week.